Hello, my name's Stephen from K-Scale Models, and today I'm going to be doing a talk regarding this. The Connected Armoured Vehicle. It's in 1 to 144 scale, and it's from Gundam Seed. Now, you might be thinking, I don't remember this thing from Gundam Seed or Gundam Seed Destiny. Well, I can guarantee you it was in both. I've pulled the one from Gundam Seed Destiny because they're better quality. So, here it is in the background. Couple more in the background. It's basically just tracing. So you see bunch there, bunch there. Yeah, this is what I sometimes have to work with. But anyway, ooh, and this is the Battle of Berlin where it's about to get destroyed. This column's about to get wiped out. That one is getting wiped out. That one has been wiped out. Firing away uselessly. And yeah, survivability in this thing was not great. So, yeah, that is this thing's life. So, this is it in Fusion 360. So, this is designed to be 3D printed. Now, keen-eyed among you would have noticed something. That turret doesn't look right. Well, this has got a bit of a gimmick. Oh, do that again. There. So, the rear section detaches and becomes a little stationary gun platform. In the files here at the moment, I've just put the APC cannon on this bit, but that's the thing. This is kind of an APC as well as a main battle tank, just depending on what you put on the back. And it also comes with a little machine gun turret. Now, this thing was only ever shown in the scene at the beginning there of Gundam Seed Destiny, so this is episode 1, and you see it there. So yeah, that's not exactly well known, and I've actually not been able to find any references to it on MHQ or any of the other sites that normally have good information about this. So yeah, I just made it because it was there, and if I didn't, someone would come out and say, oh yeah, that was there. So yeah, that's that. Now, just to go over this and show you some of the parts of it, I'll first off remove this turret, or this gun section, so remove that. Now, let's remove the side panels and one of the wheels, because that will kind of give you an idea of what's in here for detail. So, the tyres themselves are quite detailed. They were absolute pain to do, but I think they were worth it. So, you get the tyre themselves, you get the suspension arm, and you get this little hubcap here. So that can connect all together, and if you're very careful with the glue, you can get the wheels to turn. Although, being resin, it is difficult to keep them turning, and they tend to grind themselves to pieces and kind of flop around. So yeah, this is not a toy. This is a resin model kit. So, going on to the back section, I'll just get rid of all the A sections. So this is the actual connected side. Now, you'll have noticed something with the other one. I think it was D1? Nope. No, not D2. It's the C sections. So, there. So you notice, this bit is different from here. So this is just to let it connect onto the actual tank part. This part being a standalone doesn't have that. So I've got drawings. I've got pictures somewhere of this thing sitting on its own, and there's no connection point at the front, so it just connects on by wizardry or something. But yeah, moving on to this, you can open this up, and there is actually a tire in here, or a wheel, and that all fits onto that. So yeah, moving on to the gun, you can see the side mounts are actually two separate bits. So this lets you pose the gun either elevated or depressed. So yeah, it doesn't have a huge amount of articulation there just because of where it's mounted, but yeah, that gives you at least some options for posing this thing, and that's kind of the point. This thing is meant to be used as a sort of diorama fodder where you're having it hunkered down behind something and fighting off whatever mobile suit. So yeah, so let's just get rid of these parts and move over to these parts for a minute. One thing I forgot to put on a second ago is these. So little struts at the back. Just the way that Fusion works, it was actually easier to put them as separate entities rather than just bodies. So yeah. Now if we go and take this panel off, we can see that in this case this arm actually has pivot points. Now, as I said, this is designed so that you can use it as part of a diorama. So if you're using it as part of a diorama, this has got to kind of all lie flat on the ground. So if your diorama base isn't 100% flat because you're modeling, say, a dirt track or something, this has to be able to move a little to compensate for it. So that's why that's the way it is. And so moving on to the actual turret, little gimmick with this, it's got missiles in there. So yeah, those are little missiles. They're on pivot points, so if you want you can start to move them around, but I would keep them laying flat because that's kind of how they're depicted. But yeah, just a nice little thing. And the final bit, let's get rid of them, these two, and just show off the this little turret. So yeah, little smoke launchers, machine gun, and the light. So yeah, you'll see that that is a separate piece, as is that light. Let's just make it easier to print. So yeah, that should all fit together. When you see models on CAD, you will notice it looks like there's big gaps, but trust me, when you're assembling that, this is not a big gap. That fits in pretty snugly, especially if you put a layer of paint on first. So now what I'll do is I'll go over the actual model that I printed out. And here is the final model. So it's been 3D printed, and then after priming and just automotive primer, I painted it in Tamiya NATO Green. So that's the main hull. I've painted all the detailed parts flat black with black rubber for the tires. I've also put yellow for the headlights. And that was it. So fairly straightforward build. And that's all the parts. So when I display this, I normally display it with the APC turret rather than the linear cannon on the actual tank part, and put the linear cannon on the sort of separate part. The machine gun turret generally just gets left to the side for displays. So yeah, it's there only because it was in that one episode. Now, where can you find this? Well, I've got it up on Etsy. The actual STL will cost you £5. If you don't have access to a 3D printer, I will sell you the full kit for £20. And then there's postage on top of that, of course. So, I hope you found this interesting, and thank you for watching.